Hey guys, Michael here from michaelsherlock.com. I want to give you my review of the HTC HD7S. This is a Windows Phone device that is on AT&T. It costs $200 with a 2-year contract and of course that obligatory $15 per month minimum data plan. So let's just go over some of the hardware features real quick. We have a pretty nice 4.3-inch 480 by 800 pixel display. This is of the Super LCD variety, so it's not AMOLED or Super AMOLED or anything of that nature, but it's not standard LCD either, so it actually has pretty good color reproduction and viewing angles aren't bad either. This device is 122 millimeters high by 68 millimeters wide at 11.2 millimeters thick. If we can compare that to an iPhone 4, it's pretty close to that. Of course, it is longer because it has a much bigger display. This is also 162 grams, so it's not heavy at all for the size. It fits comfortably in the hand and is very ergonomic when you're holding it and talking on it. So if we go around, we have some Windows keys here. You have a back key, your Windows key, which will bring you home, as well as a search key. On the bottom, you have your charging and data port, as well as a microphone or a headphone jack. On the side, you have your camera, on the right side, camera shutter, as well as volume up and down. On the top, you have your power key. The left side is clean, and if we bring you to the back, this is where you'd have access to, of course, this is a GSM phone, so your SIM card as well as the battery. This is a 1,230 milliamp hour battery. It's pretty much average. It'll get you through mostly the entire day. So that's just kind of what we expect, but you will probably be charging this device daily, which again is a smartphone average. You have your 5 megapixel camera here with dual LED flash. Of course, this will capture 720p video. And what's also pretty nice is it has a kickstand, which HTC has done in a few devices. So when you're watching content, you don't have to hold it. So if you're on a plane, wherever you are, you don't have to hold it to watch. You can just let it sit there for you, which is actually pretty nice. Powering this device is a 1 GHz single-core Qualcomm CPU with 578 megabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal storage. That is not expandable. Now, in terms of hardware, this is about average. It has a pretty nice display, but in terms of camera quality, in terms of the single-core CPU and the RAM, it's about average in terms of what we see in mid-2011. So let's just get to, actually using this device and how it works. So we can swipe up here, and here is the home screen. We have our Metro UI as well as our live tiles. So the first live tile that you get is to make calls. It works just as you'd expect. And the second is people. This is essentially your address book. And what's cool about this is it'll import stuff from your SIM. But what's also interesting is you can input your social networks such as Windows Live and Facebook, and it'll actually pull information from there. Now there's a setting inside that will allow you to choose either A, display all your Facebook contacts, or what actually is a better option is to take all the contacts you currently have and just attach their Facebook information, which makes a lot more sense. Messaging is the next live tile. It works just as you'd expect. You can go on and click, and then you can attach any contacts that you want and start typing. It works in landscape or portrait, and you can click attach here, and that's how you can do your attaching pictures and videos for MMS. We'll go back. It works pretty well. Basically, this works very similar to all of the virtual keyboards, and of course it'll give you a landscape version as well. In my opinion, it's not as good as iOS, and it's on par with Android. But the cool thing about Android is there are a lot of modifications that you can use or personalized keyboards such as swipe that make the experience just that much better. So Windows Phone Virtual Keyboard, not bad, but it's not the best on the market. Twitter is an app that you get. Personal, that's just the email account. It works just the way you'd expect, and it is not a unified version though, so you'll have multiple different inboxes for all that. Me is pretty cool. Me is basically your hub for everything that's about you. So when you go in there, you can see your social networks. The idea here is it'll give you a unified view of all the social networks that you have. The problem is right now, the only information it can grab from is Facebook and Windows Live. However, once Mango, which we'll be talking about later in this review, comes, Twitter and LinkedIn integration will be added as well. You have AT&T Uverse Mobile, so if you're a Uverse customer, you can go ahead and watch content from here. Internet Explorer we'll get to in a second. Xbox Live is pretty interesting. Basically, this will give you information about the games that you've played on your device, but it'll also connect to the same Xbox Live that you play on your Xbox 360, so you can get information about your gamer tag and all of that information right on the go. It's actually a pretty immersive experience, and I've actually really enjoyed playing games on here, because on other platforms it seems like the games are all separated, but I think Windows Phone does a good job of getting everything into one place for you to make it a more unified experience. Calendar is pretty basic. Pictures is pretty cool because it actually, again, pulls information from the cloud. So over here, here's just one of the albums that were preloaded onto the phone. But if we go back over here, all date favorites, let's click all. It'll actually get your camera roll pictures, and this will just give us an example of how well the camera works. So we can put that into landscape. We can zoom in a little bit at least, and we can swipe across. Hold on, it's acting up a little bit. But we can look at other pictures that were taken. You can see here that the flower was in focus, whereas the background wasn't, which is pretty cool. We can also watch a video. This was taken on the device. There's a little bit of motion blur, but for the most part it works well. But what I was trying to show you was that it actually pulls content from your camera roll, from the albums that are stored locally, and then it'll pull content actually from Facebook. And of course, we should be seeing more integration as well once Mango launches. That's actually pretty cool to have all of that stuff in one place, one central place. Instead of having to go to the Facebook app, the different apps that you have in different hubs, it just makes it a lot easier. So at the bottom you have your HTC hub, which will give you your weather, and you can choose that, and there are a couple different widgets. Let's go to, there are two things I want to show you at the end here, Marketplace and Internet Explorer. We'll show you Marketplace first. Essentially, this is the day and age of applications. If you don't have solid app support, there's really no way that your platform can work. So if we wanted to update, we can click Update All. We don't need to do that right now. We can go to Apps. Let's say we were looking for an application to handle all of our sports needs. We didn't just want football or baseball, we want one that works all together. So we can go to categories over here, and we can click on sports. Now they have some ones, MLB at Bat, which is pretty cool. You can watch live games, golf if you want that, a executive caddy for 20 bucks. But you know what? We want something free. I don't want to pay, I just want to see score updates in one app. So we can go ahead and pull that down, go to Score Center. It's a free app, so we can go ahead and install that. And it'll ask us if we want to confirm the purchase. Now this is actually over 3G. It connects to Wi-Fi as well, but this whole demo has been brought to you over 3G AT&T. So it's going to go ahead and purchase that. And it'll say pending over here. Soon it'll say downloading and then installing. There we go, 35%. So now the app is fully installed, so we can go back. We can scroll over to see all apps, and there it is, ESPN Score Center. We just downloaded it, and we can open it up just like that. Now, in terms of the marketplace, it has definitely improved since when I first got this review unit to check out. However, it is definitely far behind Android as well as iOS, of course. But it is growing. Now the last app I want to show you is Internet Explorer. This does not have Flash, but it actually works pretty well. Of course, it takes a couple seconds to render everything when we zoom in. Again, this is a single core CPU. But one thing I just want to show you in the settings that I thought was pretty cool when I checked it out was you can actually easily choose website preferences. So if you want the mobile version or the desktop version, which is pretty cool. I, of course, opt for the desktop version. You can favorite it, of course. Opening new tabs is quite simple. And there is also Bing suggestions. So we can start typing. So let's say we wanted to start typing my name. Michael Savage, michaels.com, michaeljackson.com. We can keep typing. And it has Michael Sherlock as a suggestion. We can click on that. and that'll start pulling down the page. So there's the browser, a little bit funky, but for the most part it actually works quite well. Of course it doesn't have Flash, but there will be improvements once Mango hits. Now that's just the last part of the review that I want to hit on. Windows Phone Mango, or Windows Phone 7 series, will be getting a significant update once Mango launches this fall. Basically, you will have a phone now. When you buy this device, you can get used to it, and then in the fall, when the new Mango software comes out, you'll be getting essentially a new phone. I mentioned this in terms of social networking integration. Twitter and LinkedIn will be added, and that's actually pretty critical because one of the reasons for the Metro UI is to make social network integration easier than ever before. So getting more social networks is definitely critical. I would not be surprised if we see Google Plus added in there in the future. Also, email, I mentioned it, we'll be getting a unified inbox, which is actually a pretty cool feature. Of course, one of the other things is, as you can see, some of these tiles have animations, but those are first-party tiles. Third-party tiles don't have animation support until Mango, when devs can animate live tiles. But of course, the biggest feature is multitasking, which will be coming with that Mango update. It is not as strong as WebOS or Android, but it is definitely a better experience than the iOS version of multitasking. Now, in conclusion, this is a very solid phone. I really enjoyed using it, and I really am looking forward to the full power of Windows Phone 7 Mango once that is released at the end of in 2011 later this year. Overall, I give it a thumb up. I really think this is a quality device, and you'll be more than happy with it once you get used to it. If you're going in with this, though, thinking that the experience is going to be as smooth as a more mature operating system, such as iOS, you're mistaken. There are some glitches and bugs, as you've seen that as we've gone through this review, but for the most part, you'll be able to get everything done that you need, and the experience overall will be quite good. I'm Michael Sherlock from michaelsherlock.com. This is the HTC HD7S. I think it's a really solid device and one you should check out if you're on AT&T. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a nice day.